Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to welcome you to the virtual editors reception at this 2020 SEG annual meeting, and from a virtual George R. Brown Convention Center in Houston, Texas. I am Baishali Roy from ConocoPhillips and the Vice President of Publications on the SEG board. As a board member, I am very excited to be a part of this fantastic virtual meeting that SEG has brought forward for us, and hope you are too. This allows us to reach out to many more members across the world. So please explore the many avenues of the digital speedway to gain the full virtual experience. In addition, I want to wish you and your loved ones a continued safe journey through this pandemic that has brought unprecedented challenges to the entire world and our geophysics community. Hang in there, folks. And hopefully there is a vaccine available early next year, and so that we can see light at the end of the tunnel. Going back to publication matters, the editor's reception every year aims at all of us gathering together to honor all the tremendous contributions of our greatest scientists through their publications. Then this is a core strength and flagship program to provide cutting-edge technical content to our membership. And that includes publications in journals, books, and sharing of technical content through the annual meetings and the wiki. In this reception, we would typically also honor the best paper and poster awards from journals and past annual meetings. However, those have been moved to the honors and awards virtual ceremony this year, which is on Tuesday, October 13th at 5:30 p.m. So if you're interested to know more about those great contributions, please join that event. On our three main journals, Geophysics, Interpretation, TLE, continue to get very strong submissions even through this pandemic. The site scores for all of them and the impact factor of the first two continues to be strong and growing. The wiki pages continue to get more views around the world, and multiple book reviews continue to keep the books editorial community very busy. And the Technical Standards Committee ensured that we are current, modern in our SEG-Y, SEG-D standards, and the translation committee continues to translate some key books that we have all used. This is all made possible by the great contributions from authors around the world, volunteers around the world, and through the thorough job of the reviewers and the editorial board. And very importantly, the relentless hard work from SEG staff to make it all happen. So I would like to take a moment and take this opportunity to thank all the SEG publication staff. And my special thanks goes to Ted, Jennifer, Barbara, Elizabeth, Kelly, Kelsey, Steve, Cheryl, and many others. A few highlights from the world of publication in the past year. A fantastic lineup of special issues in the Geophysics, Interpretation, and TLE. If you haven't seen it, please go and check the editorial calendar. Geoscience World continues to gain popularity, which is our open source journal. TLE increased the number of editorial board members to 9. Geophysics added 10 new AEs. Books editorial board added 4 new members. Reviews committee added 2 new members, and the list goes on. And to add to that, the publications committee brought forward to the board and got approved several changes in the policies and procedures, including ethical guidelines and punitive actions, the preprint policy, the DORA endorsements, and so on. SEG Wiki renamed to the Community Content Committee to enable expansion and include blogs and YouTube channels. And the Spanish translation of Bob Sheriff's Encyclopedic Dictionary have now been added to the wiki page as well. So wherever you are in the world, let's toast to the success of the publication portfolio of SEG and continue to enjoy the great virtual SEG 2020 meeting. As part of this reception, I would like to invite the editor-in-chiefs and the committee chairs to say a few words on some of their latest activities. Thanks and cheers.
Greetings from Golden, Colorado. My name is Jeff Shragge, and I'm the current Geophysics Editor-in-Chief. Geophysics has been going strong this year, and we're expecting a record number of submissions, likely over 900 manuscripts in the 2020 calendar year. As one might expect, this level of submissions leads to quite a heavy workload for the SEG staff and our over 80 editorial board members and 1,000 plus reviewer volunteers. So I'd like to take a moment to recognize the following groups for their ongoing efforts. First, the associate editors for doing an excellent job shepherding papers through the system and for contributing your professional experience and knowledge to the peer review process. Second, each of the assistant editors for your efforts in handling over 100 submissions per year and for contributing to the quarterly policy meetings that are helpful for steering the ship. Third, the geophysics reviewers for continuing to provide high quality assessments with many volunteers handling over 10 manuscripts per year, including all of the revisions. This includes Eric Kana, a PhD candidate at ETH Zurich, who was recognized as the 2020 Geophysics Reviewer of the Year. Finally, a big thank you to the SEG staff members, Callie, Barbara, Elizabeth, Jennifer, and Ted, for your hard work, professionalism, and dedication, which makes heading such a group a much easier task. This year has seen one substantial change to the senior editorial team. Given the sustained level of submissions, a new position has been created called the Senior Assistant Editor, which is currently held by John Etchen. The responsibilities of this position include having to formulate editorial policy, contributing to publication ethics decisions, and handling all of the reject and resubmit decisions. So overall, a very important role to play. With this role, John will also become the new Geophysics Editor-in-Chief in August 2021, when my term is over and a new Senior Assistant Editor will be promoted. I thank John for his excellent work so far, and I have no doubt that the journal will be in good hands going forward. I'd like to conclude with two final recognitions. First, I'd like to congratulate Ted Bakamgion for being honored with one of this year's presidential awards. Ted has an incredible amount of publishing and institutional knowledge, and I thank him for the various bits of advice that he has provided to me and the editorial board over the previous years. And finally, I wanted to recognize Cheryl Danker. For many of us who have interacted with geophysics over the past decade, Cheryl has been a constant, friendly, and supportive presence. And on behalf of the Geophysics Editorial Board, I'd like to recognize and thank Cheryl for her many contributions to the geophysics family. Thanks, and have a good meeting.
Greetings from Austin, Texas. I'm Kyle Spikes. I'm an associate professor of geophysics here at the University of Texas at Austin, and I'm the outgoing chair of the editorial board for The Leading Edge. In the past year, The Leading Edge has received over 100 manuscripts. We have expanded the board numbers from 7 to 9 members. We have already published all the way through the end of 2021 the editorial calendar, which includes the special sections for each month. We've also, in 29, received a site score of 3.0, which is a new record for The Leading Edge. I would like to thank the editorial board members for all of their volunteer efforts. They serve in two capacities, as either an associate editor for the standalone papers or as assistant editors for the special sections that they coordinate. Now, the coordination of a special section, again, we have one every month, is a substantial effort. And so I commend the editorial board members for all of their work. I would also like to thank Steve Brown and Kelsey Taylor at the office in Tulsa for all of their efforts, without which we would not be able to have a monthly issue. It is a pleasure to announce that Yang Yi Lee will be the next chair of the editorial board. He will take over at the end of the annual meeting. And this marks the end of my 4-year commitment to serving on the Leading Edge editorial board. It has been a privilege to be on the board, and I bid you farewell.
Hello, my name is Balazs Nemeth. I'm the editor-in-chief of Interpretation. And as you see, I actually moved the editorial reception outside just to have something different. First, I'd like to talk about the successes of Interpretation this year. The journal received the highest ever impact factor rating this year, which is a great news for the journal. If you would like to learn more about this, please check out the August issue of the Interpretation. The letter from the editor's section talk about these indexes, these ratings in more detail, and some of the technicalities, how these are computed. So make sure that you check it out. It's a very interesting read. We also added a new member to the board this year from outside of North America. The purpose of this one is to try to make the journal more international, receive more contributions from outside of North America, and try to make the journal more accepted outside of North America. I'd like to thank to the board for their editorial board for their work this year. They did a great job in proposing special sections. They are really the engine of the journal. They keep the special sections coming, the interesting topics coming. Thank you very much for your work this year. Besides the special sections, we receive a lot of technical papers that are handled by the Deputy Editor-in-Chief, Kurt Marford, and his team of Deputy Editors. Again, thank you very much for handling those wide variety of topics. Then your contribution makes the journal even more colorful. A big thank you goes to the reviewers and all the other people who contribute to the journal. Thank you very much for helping the interpretation be a successful journal. And lastly, but not least, it wouldn't be able to function properly without the help and professionalism of the editorial board, the SEG staff, Jennifer, Barbara, Elizabeth, Ted, and Cheryl also. Thank you very much for your work. We really appreciate your help, and then we appreciate the reminders that keeps the journal up and running and going. So please grab a glass and a glass of wine. Cheers, enjoy the conference, and then see you in cyberspace sometimes. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Lianjie Huang from Los Alamos National Lab. I'm the chair of the SEG Book Editorial Board. The SEG Books program is a crucial part of the Society's goal of being a go-to source for quality information on applied geophysics. I'm pleased to announce that Philip Armstrong, Ed Biggers, Bill Harbers, Umair bin Wahid, and Inchai Jen have joined Ian Jones, Wei Liu, and Liam O'Sullivan, and Timon Ian Moser as a member of the board. Together, we solicit and consider proposal and manuscript from author and editors, with the board member serving as a managing editor for accept proposals. It has been busy years. We have published 4 new titles, including Anatropy and Microseismics, Theory and Practice by Vladimir Grechko, Basic Wave Analysis by Anders Robinson and Timon Ian Moser, Blizzards and Broken Glaciers, A Year of the Antarctic Glaciology by Les Denham, and Seismic Survey and Seismic Acquisition for Land, Marine, and in between in light of new technology and techniques by Dave Monk. Before the end of the year, we expect to have 2 additional titles complete. Simultaneous Source Seismic Acquisition by Ray Ebma and Mark Foster, and Illustrated Seismic Processing Volume 2 Pre-Imaging by Steve Hill and Andreas Ruger. Next year, we'll be publishing books on seismic attribute and computer-assisted interpretation, machine learning, near-surface geophysics, and forensic data processing. The books SEG publish are essential resource for students, researchers, and practitioners. If you are interested in publishing a book with SEG or know someone who is, please contact me or Susan Stam at the SEG office, and we will help you through the process. I would like to thank the board member for their volunteer efforts. Particularly, I would like to thank SEG Books Program Manager Susan Stam for her outstanding work, making the program another successful year. Thank you for your attention.
Hello, geoscientists. My name is Olga Nedorub, and I'm SEG 2020 Technical Program Committee Chair. 2020 is a unique year that truly tested SEG's ability to adapt to the present-day challenges, but still focus on our core values. At the very heart of the technical program are over 700 presentations from experts all over the world that are subdivided into 115 technical sessions that span the entire cross-sections of geophysics discipline. Just to name a few, there are topics that are traditional to SEG that are constantly evolving and advancing, such as seismic acquisition and design, borehole geophysics, seismicity, rock physics, AVO, interpretation, VSP, just to name a few, and of course machine learning and so much more. Such a strong technical program would not have been possible without a hard work of over 1,000 volunteers and SEG staff. I'm also very excited for this year's focus of SEG on geophysics applications to fields of study other than oil and gas exploration. And those include the geophysics exploration of the solar system by NASA, geophysics in medicine, hydrogeophysics, urban geophysics, and much more. Every year, SEG focuses on different parts of the planet, and I'm very excited that the focus of this year's special global session is on Africa, offshore and onshore exploration, its challenges and opportunities. Another very important part of the technical program are post-convention workshops. And SEG is extremely proud to announce that this year post-convention workshops are included with the general admission. We have over 20 workshops that will allow an in-depth dive into various topics and allow for debates and discussions. And I hope to see everybody at SEG's 90th anniversary.